If you still picture a company's finance department as just a bunch of people counting beans in a back office, well, it's time for a major rethink. A massive shift is happening right now, and it's turning finance leaders from number crunchers into the strategic co-pilots for the entire company. So, what does that new job on the flight deck actually look like? Let's dive in.
So let me ask you a question. When things get chaotic, with economic risks and constant change, who's really at the helm, charting the course for your organization's future? The answer? Well, it might not be who you think.
According to some new research from Deloitte, it's finance. That's right, a solid majority, 57% of finance leaders are now taking a leading role in crafting their company's enterprise-wide strategy. They've literally moved from the engine room right up to the bridge.
So, why the sudden promotion? Well, this huge shift isn't just happening by accident. Nope, it's a direct response to a perfect storm of new and really complex business challenges.
Just look at what leaders are juggling today. You've got economic uncertainty at the top, but right on its heels are massive pressures around financial reporting, data privacy, supply chains that are still a mess, and regulations that seem to change every other week. It's a lot, and it demands a steady, data-driven hand on the wheel.
But the real story here is how they're fighting back. Leaders are getting way more proactive. 30% are beefing up their advanced scenario planning, basically wargaming the future, while 28% are building more agile ways to govern so they can make smarter decisions when things change on a dime.
And this quote from Ed Hardy at Deloitte just nails it. It's all about moving past that traditional role to become a true strategic advisor, someone who can actually take all this chaos and harness it, turning it into fuel for growth. It's a total game changer.
But look, to navigate all these challenges, you need more than just a good map. You need the right instruments. And today, finance leaders are deploying a seriously powerful new toolkit. And, no surprise here, it's all about tech.
For starters, get this. A full 42% of chief financial officers now personally own their organization's cost management strategy. This isn't just advising anymore. This is a huge shift in accountability and direct control. And that ownership, it makes a real difference to the bottom line. When CFOs are in charge of costs, 47% of them consistently hit their savings goals. That's a pretty big leap compared to their peers who don't have that direct control. The takeaway is simple. Ownership gets results.
So, where are these savings coming from? Well, it's not about cutting the travel budget anymore. The two biggest drivers are pure modern technology. 51% of savings are coming from smarter cloud infrastructure, and a massive 49% are being driven by artificial intelligence.
Okay, so this brings us to a really fascinating and kind of critical problem in this whole story. AI is obviously a key tool, right? But just having it isn't a magic wand. There's this paradox between how many people are using it and the actual results they're seeing.
So first, let's just set the stage here. AI isn't some futuristic idea. It is here right now. 63% of finance teams have already deployed and are actively using AI solutions. It's officially mainstream.
But here's the kicker. Even with all those teams using AI, only 21%, that's barely 1 in 5, say they have a clear, measurable return on investment from it. So what in the world is causing this huge disconnect?
Well, the roadblocks are pretty clear. For the teams just starting out, old, clunky legacy tech is the big killer. Then, you've got the classic problem of just trying to prove the financial benefit. And for the teams that are more advanced, data privacy concerns become the main thing holding them back from unlocking AI's full power.
Which brings us to what might be the most important piece of this entire puzzle, because even the absolute best technology is, frankly, useless without the right people to make it work. So let's talk about the human element.
Wow, this chart really says it all. When leaders were asked what skills they're going to prioritize over the next year, almost 2/3 of them said technical skills, like AI, automation, and data analysis. Your traditional finance skills are still important, for sure, but the balance of power has definitely shifted.
So how are they plugging the skills gap? Well, they're getting creative. 40% are using AI to make their current teams even better, kind of giving them superpowers. They're also investing in specialized training, and they're looking outside the usual places, hiring people from non-traditional backgrounds, and even pulling in experts from other parts of the business. So when you put all these pieces together, you've got the strategic leadership, you've got the powerful tech, and this new focus on talent. What you end up with is a brand new mandate for what the finance team is supposed to be.
Ultimately, it's this. The mission has fundamentally changed. Finance is no longer just about reporting on what happened last quarter. It is now about using data, technology, and strategic insight to actively architect what's going to happen next.
And that really just leaves us with one final, crucial question for you to think about. In this new era of business, is your finance team just counting the beans, or are they truly ready to take the helm and steer your company into the future?